Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the Magic in the Midwest podcast, starring USA Today best-selling author J.B. Michaels and his more successful wife, Ashley Michaels. And now, your hosts. Well, thank you, announcer. Yes, I am J.B. Michaels, USA Today best-selling author of many books, 14 to be exact. Lots of fun for everybody there. If you want to, have fun, fun to read, entertaining books, please check out J.B. Michaels, MrMichaels.com, or on, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all the places where you can find books. And then I'm joined here again by who are you?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, so I'm just gonna do this solo.
No, we're married, I guess.
Identity disorders. Okay, so yeah, Ashley is here. Yes. Ashley is here. Yes, this is the 48th podcast. I was way wrong. Last week I said it was like 49. I was way off. I don't know what was wrong with me. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry.
I don't think anyone's surprised.
I'm sorry. So please, guys, check us out on Bandcamp. For $3 a month, you could support the podcast, like literally $3 a month. We would really appreciate it. We're coming out on our year anniversary. Mm-hmm. And we really should figure out some sort of push to get more subscribers for the year anniversary. So yeah, we've got. What
do you think we could offer that people would like?
I don't know.
Like maybe I could post videos of you doing like dumb stuff.
Right.
Behind the paywall.
I guess. Anyway. So maybe do dumb stuff. So yeah. Magic in the Midwest podcast.bandcamp.com is where you can go help support the podcast because it does cost money every month to have the podcast. So please just make sure, we make sure that we are going to update that content. We give you guys exclusive content. We literally give you another episode every week on Bandcamp. So you get this episode, but then you also get another one. So if you want, and those are special topics, where we kind of dig a little deeper into our thoughts about, what we like better, attraction smackdowns, theme park smackdowns. We also do special topics sometimes and just kind of riff on things, do our top fives. Our top threes. We do a lot of list type of podcasts on the Bandcamp exclusives. So there's a lot of really cool, fun conversations to be had over there on Magic in the Midwest podcast.bandcamp.com. So please check it out. $3 a month. That's less than a cup of coffee, typically, that people go buy at whatever, Dunkin' or Starbucks or whatever.
The Bucks.
Yeah. So please check that out. And today we have a very, very special episode today. We did something rather impromptu, an impromptu visit. We went to Disney in January for a weekend. Yes, it was very quick. Mm-hmm. It was only it was 3 nights. Really, we were only there in the park 2 days. But we have a lot to cover. We want to talk about everything, and then we might, piecemeal it and go into a little bit more detail over the next few weeks, or not. But we will. But we, because next week we'll get back into Islands of Adventure. But this week we decided for a special topics podcast that we would talk about our trip. So we decided we couldn't stand it anymore. It was too long. It had been, a year and a half.
Yeah.
Almost.
And we didn't even really tell anyone. We just sort of looked at availability and just did it. Yeah. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it had been the last time we were there before that was the summer of 2019. So.
Yeah. Yeah. It really, so it was about, a year and almost a year and a half. I mean, close enough.
Yeah.
So we're really we were like, let's just go. So we did. And we had a voucher, obviously, we did the whole, Midway thing. We went to Midway Airport, did Southwest Airlines, because we had vouchers, because we had already booked a trip for Orlando the summer before, in summer of 2020. Obviously, that didn't work out, so we had the vouchers already, so it didn't really cost us anything more. We still have money left over on those vouchers because of how low the airfare has been. And so we decided to go. We booked Bay Lake Tower, with DVC, so basically we stayed at the Contemporary Resort, which is, a walk away from the Magic Kingdom and the monorail stop. It's a monorail ride as well to the Magic Kingdom from there. Because we were like, well, why don't we just get somewhere close to where we're going to be, where we definitely want to be, which is one of the days was Magic Kingdom. So I guess we could just kind of start, from like the beginning, like the whole trip. We'll just go through the whole trip. So Ash, first off, obviously it was awesome trip, you guys. The Disney has really handled the pandemic, the COVID situation very well. I always felt safe.
Yeah.
The entire time. Like, I really never felt like, in any danger. There were clearly marked, distancing everywhere. For the most part, every single person that was in the parks was complying by the rules. Yes. If someone had put down their mask, under their nose, Disney would immediately respond and say, yes, please put your mask back up. Like, they were on it.
They did.
Yeah, so it was very good. So let's just get all that crap out of the way, right? It was safe. We felt safe. It's a great time to go.
And just, obviously a disclaimer, it all is, your personal preference too. Some people do not want to go right now, and that's totally fine. I think you have to be okay with a certain level of exposure, right? There are a lot of people.
Yes.
It's not like normal, but there are a lot of people there, and you have to make that decision
yourself.
We won't continue to talk about that. But yes, I felt like far and large. No,
by and large.
By and large.
Far and large.
Far and large.
Oh my God.
I was like, jeez. No, that doesn't sound right.
Far and large. There's a buffalo.
People were very compliant, and like JB said, if someone was walking around with a mask under their nose, Disney cast members right away would jump in, and not only did they say something, but they would wait for that person to actually pull the mask back up. It wasn't like just passing by, pull your mask back up. They actually waited for the person to do it, or told them they had the option to leave.
Right.
So they were super on top of it. There were 6-foot markers, sometimes even more than 6 feet, markers in line. I feel like for the most part, everyone was doing that. So that whole part was good.
Oh yeah. So we're just gonna, we don't want this to be about that. So, but we went, and it was great, right? And it was just a really wonderful time that I think we just really needed. And if you're responsible, you travel responsibly, blah blah blah. It's all good. So here's what happened after we get into Orlando MCO. It was crazy, you guys. Like,
my gosh,
it was a ghost town.
We were the only ones down on that floor.
Right.
Literally, there was not a soul of another person. And when we walked down to where Magical Express is, we were the only people, and we got on a van. They took us in a van instead of a bus.
Right.
It was just us, which was really cool. And we got dropped off right at our hotel or resort. But it was really wild to see literally no one in that area except for us.
Yes, and then so we walked out, and then we had actually had Magical Express reservations, which we know that at the end of this year that is going to no longer be available at all, period.
Right.
Unless they make some sort of deal or do something. It's just not going to not going to happen. So, but here's the weird thing: there was nobody around, right? So, we did not. So we walked up, and we did not get into a big Magical Express bus. They actually put us in a smaller Mears shuttle.
That's what I said. That's what I just said.
Right, I know. Well, I'm going through it. So, just step by step. So we get up there, and there was just nobody, no one. Like it was weird. It was like they sort of were like, well, how about do you want your own private Mears shuttle, kind of making it, seem like it's better than it is. So one thing, obviously, I understand, right?
They're gonna put 3 people on a bus by themselves.
Huge bus if they're not going to waste all that.
They wouldn't really. They weren't really asking us. I don't
no,
think
they were not asking.
No. They were gonna tell us to do that, which is fine. Honestly, it was a good experience.
So now, obviously, it takes the magical part of the Magical Express out of it because you don't get the experience of being on the Magical Express bus, which is the video and the fun and all of the the things that kind of come with being on the bus and getting ready for your trip. So it was just us and the driver. It just he drove us to the Contemporary, and it was awesome. But I will say this, because of the situation now, you're not supposed to go check in. You're supposed to just, through the app, be able to get into your room. Well, we had lots of issues with that, unfortunately. Because we were getting in later in the day, for some reason, Disney can't comply. Like, their systems can't, handle that. For whatever reason. So I literally, I'm not kidding, 10 minutes before, we got to Bay Lake, I was calling Disney to be like, I still don't have a room. Where am I supposed to go?
Right, because they're supposed to send that to you ahead of time.
Right.
And we still didn't have it, so you called.
And they had our flight information because of Magical Express. Like, they asked for all of those things. So I was a little befuddled. And then I feel like because we did that and didn't have a room, we got kind of thrown in. I'll be honest, I think we got thrown into a room we weren't supposed to be in. I think we were supposed to probably be somewhere else. I think they were going to put us in different spots, because I typically don't think they would have put us there. I just don't, because frankly, to be honest, it wasn't completely clean.
No, it was very dusty and not super
It wasn't
clean.
Ready. It was not ready.
No, and we were also put next to, which I understand this happens. It seemed like a fairly big group of people was in the room next to us, and they were very loud. I can deal with that until about midnight or so, and then I'll start to get annoyed.
Yeah.
And it seemed like they were going flushing the toilet every 5 seconds. I'm not kidding. And we could hear the sliding door open, close.
So I'm not exactly sure. I think that, I'll be honest, our stay at Bay Lake was not the best. And I definitely put that in the survey afterwards. Yeah. I definitely said I feel like this was not as good as it has been in the past. That was the only issues that we had, honestly.
Well, and when we got there, you're supposed to be able to use your phone to open the
It wouldn't
room.
work.
It didn't work.
Right.
Your Magic Band didn't work. My Magic Band did
if we didn't
most of the time.
Yeah.
So that's a problem.
So there were some technological hiccups and just some basic, you guys, I was a little upset because it's you knew I was coming. I should have had a room well before this. I already checked in online. So I was a little upset with that, the way that was handled. And then we literally just got a room that probably was vacant for the last 2 year, it wasn't cleaned. It wasn't, it was clean, but it was cleaned, a long time ago. Because, which is fine. I get it, but I'm paying, I'm using money. I'm using points.
Well, and not to be gross, some people aren't going to want to hear this, but there was a bunch of hair
in the
long hair in the shower drain that was making it not drain.
Right.
It was so gross. And I feel like that's something they usually check. They run the water to make sure it is draining, and they clearly didn't. And just everything was... I'm not someone that checks the tops of picture frames for dust. I'm not one of those super like about all that, but
Yeah.
it was like when you walked in, you could tell because the air conditioning hadn't really been on, then it like blasted a bunch of dust everywhere.
Yeah, it did not. Here's the thing. I don't know if it was partially my fault because, was I supposed to let them know even more ahead of time, even though I already had checked in and they knew when I was checked in?
I don't think so.
Like, I don't know, but I know for sure that had we had a room when we were supposed to have a room in the app and had the mobile, like, key, it would have been in a different room and it would have been ready. This room was not ready. It was not ready for people to stay in. It absolutely was not. And because of the crunch time, because I literally had to keep, like, I waited a little bit and I called them on the way in the shuttle to be like, I was waiting. They're like, oh, you'll get your room. The app tells you, oh, you will receive your room on the day of your arrival. Well, it was all day and I didn't get anything. So
Right.
I was like, okay,
I don't
well,
feel like that's your error. If we were being told we would get it, then to me that sounds like we've done everything we need to do.
Right. So I don't know. I don't know if I missed something along the way. Maybe some reason, I guess if you come in late, it's a problem. So here's a tip. If you're going to go to Disney and you're using points or you're checking in, if you're going in late, make sure you tell them you're getting in late in the day. Because apparently that was a problem.
Maybe it was just a problem for us. Maybe it didn't have anything to do with that. I don't know. We didn't really know.
Yeah. Well, I called it. The guy was like, oh, yeah, you don't have a room. Hold on. And it was like, yeah. It was like, okay, yeah, why don't I have a room?
What was interesting, too, is that, you can't really tell, but it didn't really seem like there was a lot of people on our floor, and we somehow just got put in a
Jammed,
room right by...
It's-
These people
yeah.
were so loud, and I just don't... I mean, to me, yes, it's vacation, but it's also a shared space. At a certain point, after midnight, you need to...
Lock it up.
Like, you do.
Lock it up.
I mean, I just
Especially
don't...
with kids, Disney Resort with kids. I don't know, whatever. But
I could hear what they were talking about.
so that, I'll be honest, that wasn't pleasant.
No.
And the last couple times we have, like, the process of us starting our trip has not been great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at Boardwalk, we had lots of issues our last trip. There are some cracks I'm seeing in this process. And I don't want to feel like I don't want you guys to feel like I'm down on Disney, but I definitely am not going to lie and
Just our
say
experience.
everything was. I'm just telling you what our experience was.
Yeah.
So, and then of course, so then the next day we were going to we slept, we were fine. We slept, we got in, we were safe. It was cool. We did have a cool view of Space Mountain.
We did.
But it was, we were in the back of the resort basically. But it was cool. We had a cool view of Space Mountain. So we went to Hollywood Studios the next day. And of course, the whole reason, because originally we had planned to do Epcot and Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
Well, we changed our plans. It was like, why are we doing this? We should just go to Galaxy's Edge and go to, let's do it. So we did. But we switched got our park reservations. Luckily, Hollywood Studios was still available, so we went to Hollywood Studios. And, of course you have to get in, the virtual queue to get on Rise of the Resistance opens at 7 a.m. So I had two things going to get in the virtual queue for the morning, for the day of, to go that day. Didn't get it at all. Like, even though I was ready and refreshing.
I mean, I think it's just luck of the draw, too.
Right.
Some people are going to get it. Some people aren't. You hear people say they got it. Some people didn't get it.
Right.
One
It's just
thing we would say
random.
is definitely don't be on the Disney Wi-Fi. Be on your own.
Yeah, be on your own. If you have a good signal, try to be on your own.
But that was one
LTE.
thing everyone said. Even cast
Right.
members were like, don't use the Wi-Fi when
Right.
you're trying to get it.
Just
so
do
that's
your own thing.
a note.
Yeah.
But we, did get on the... You could talk
We
about
did later. We did. So they opened the queue again at 1 o'clock. We were able to get into the 1 o'clock queue, which is great. Mm-hmm. So now, okay. So let's go to the next. Let's just go throughout our day. So we did have some hiccups to start, which is sort of bothersome. Especially just given the premium that you are spending when you take a Disney vacation. So But anyway, so we go to Hollywood Studios, and it was a beautiful day. It was like, what, 70 degrees?
We did luck out with really, really great weather. But 70 and sunny.
Right.
Yeah.
We still had, like, pants on, but, like, we had pants on and a T-shirt.
Pants and a T-shirt and, a sweatshirt for later if needed. But, yeah, it was great.
Right. And we did head in, and we did go to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway first.
Yes.
And let's talk about Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which is now where in Hollywood, the Hollywood Chinese Theater, the Grauman's Chinese theaters, where the great movie ride used to be, and now it's Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. The line was, distanced. It looked like it was longer, but it really wasn't that long.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much the case for every ride. Most of you know they're not using fast passes right now, and the lines look very intimidating because they're socially distanced, but it moved fairly quickly. Rarely did we wait longer than 20 minutes for something.
No.
So the line queue, like, once you got inside, there are a lot of cute posters in there.
Right.
It's kind of themed after the cartoon, the new Mickey and Minnie cartoons that they have.
Yeah.
And so it was really cute to walk through there. And I mean, part of me was just emotional because it's the bones of the great movie ride, which was, one of our favorite rides.
Yes.
But the ride itself was, I was super blown away. I thought it was super cute. It was like whimsical, and it uses that that new trackless system that they're using for a lot of new rides now. And we loved it. It was super cute.
Yeah, it is a really well done attraction. Mm-hmm. It's really cool. It's an experience. It's like you do feel like you're in a cartoon. There are a lot of really cool effects to it. It's newish. There's a mixture of animatronics and screens and and effects and like this really, really cool like glasses free 3D type of effect that they have.
Yeah.
Which is really neat. They really did a cool job at that.
For me personally, it's not, when I say blown away, I just, it was more than what I expected. It is not an experience to put on par with like Flight of Passage or Rise of the Resistance.
No.
In my opinion. It's a very well done, cute, sweet, and it's just a very cool experience. Yeah,
if you're a fan of those newer Mickey Mouse cartoons, you will really enjoy it, right? And it's cool that Mickey's got his own attraction. That the whole Mickey crew, right? The Fab Five or 6, I guess, have that fun ride that is kind of a marquee ride.
And visually it's stunning. There's a lot of things, like we went on it twice actually, and we were in a different spot in the train, which also leads to seeing kind of different things up close, what order you're in and stuff. But we were pointing at things like, oh, look at that, and it just kind of keeps moving you through, and you get to see all these different
lots of detail.
Yeah, lots of detail. You go into a few different rooms, and it was just, it was fun. There was not a time on that ride when we weren't smiling and enjoying ourselves.
Yes, yeah. That's the type of that's what it's about. Like it's a true like Disney dark ride, just a newer version of a classic Disney dark ride, right? Like Peter Pan's Flight, all that type of thing. Like it's very it's very classic in some ways and just iterates and makes it just a much more flashier, technologically advanced version of those types of rides. It's not a thrill ride. It doesn't mean there are parts that aren't thrilling. There are some thrilling elements to it.
Yeah.
But obviously it's not a thrill ride. It was really, really fun. Definitely worth, waiting in line for. Definitely a must-do, I think, obviously, at Hollywood Studios. And Hollywood Studios now is, I think, a fully fleshed out park. I do, so it has it's got Toy Story Land, Galaxy's Edge, Tower of Terror, Sunset Boulevard, and obviously this, Mickey and Minnie Star Tours. So there's a lot of really great things to do now at Hollywood Studios. And I think there's going to be more as time moves on. So we did Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway twice.
We did. We let Harrison pick one more ride that we could do at the end of the day, and he picked.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if we could have done Rise of the Resistance twice,
right,
he would have picked that, but obviously that's not the situation, so he picked this one.
Yes, yeah. So basically, it was really cool, and then after that, we headed over into... Did we go to Star Tours next?
We did.
Yeah, we did Star Tours next, which was great. We had the Ice Planet Hoth. That was, I don't think I've ever been on.
And Harrison was the
Rebel Spy.
Yes.
Yes.
Which was cool.
They picked him out in the crowd and showed him as the Rebel Spy, which was cute.
Yeah.
And then we went into Galaxy's Edge, and Galaxy's Edge is it's really unique. The way you walk in, you do feel like there's just sounds everywhere. It's a really neat place.
For those of you that don't know, too, I mean, most of you do. This was our first experience.
It's our first experience. I will say this: I felt restricted. I didn't feel like I got the. I didn't feel as though I got the full Galaxy's Edge, like what they mean for you to experience because of the situation. Like, I didn't really get to go to the marketplace area because they were like limiting the amount of people that go to the marketplace area. Like, there were things I wanted to do that I did not really.
Well, you know what? It's part of the way it was designed. It was designed to feel like there's a bunch of like little shops that are real small,
right?
That you can kind of just flow in and out of. Whereas other parts of Disney, there's lines to get into every store, right? Or as long as there's enough people that are doing that. But it doesn't disrupt the experience in other big shops, because the experience once you're in there is the normal. Same. Yeah. Galaxy's Edge is sort of designed to feel like that little authentic marketplace. And by waiting in line and like having these very specific markers that you were supposed to be in the store, really, there's nothing to be done there, but it did disrupt the experience.
I'm a little like, I'm excited to return to it post all of this, because I feel like that will give me a more like what they intended this to be. Plus, they intended for things to be happening all around you, more characters all around you, people that are cast members around you as characters in Star Wars. Like, it's supposed to be a very different experience than what we experienced. Now, that's not to say it wasn't cool. Obviously, it was very cool. Like, we still got we still went on both of the main attractions. We did Millennium Falcon's Smuggler's Run. Mm-hmm. It was really cool seeing the Millennium Falcon, up close, and then, of course, getting into it. And I was actually the pilot. It was really cool when you wait in there. I will say, I was not able to fully immerse myself because we were worried about reality. With COVID and everything. So it was just like, it just felt, I feel like
out of all the places that we were, you felt it there.
Yeah, you felt it more there. You did. Which is why I think Disney realized that's where a lot of people are going to be. So they did make sure that everything was safe, which I was grateful for.
Oh yeah, I mean,
but it definitely, immersion factor was knocked down a few pegs because you just couldn't relax completely. Let yourself, I'm in Star Wars. I'm not really in Star Wars because there's these markers, took a little bit away from it. It's not Disney's fault. It's just the situation we're in.
Yeah.
So, Millennium Falcon actually got to be the pilot. Ash was a gunner and Harrison was a gunner. Mm-hmm. So Smuggler's Run is cool. I will say that Smuggler's Run, if you have the right crew of people, could be probably an amazing experience, like super duper fun.
I have some thoughts on Smuggler's Run that I want to share too.
But yes, I think out of all the experiences in Disney, this is very much like I could have seen this at Disney Quest. Like, it's a very much a video game. Like it's very video game-ish. A very hyper detailed, arcade basically is what this is.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts, Ash?
So I think the ride is super cool. I love the idea for it. I think for me, with traveling with, we have our son with us and someone like me who's not super great at video games. We had 2 other people with us, and it did make me a little nervous. Like, I didn't want their experience to be bad because Harrison and I were not shooting well enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's one thing. My other beef with the ride is, so it's just, me, but is that the controls are on, if you're the gunner, the controls are on the side of you, and you have to turn your head to see when they're lighting up to press them, which means that you're not looking in front of you, which is the fun part of feeling like you're flying in the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like, I can either be good at this and stare at the buttons, the side of the ship, or I can actually experience it and maybe miss something.
Yeah.
Because you don't just have those buttons to shoot. At least on the left side, there's another button that you have to hit it when it lights up. And if you're looking forward, you can't see it. So I kind of felt like it was the buttons either need to be in front of you so you can look forward and experience all the cool stuff happening.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? I kind of felt like that took away. And maybe if we were with people we knew that were sitting in the back and I wasn't as worried about how I was doing, I would have felt like I could look forward more. But I mean, I was seriously glancing forward. I didn't see what we were doing.
Right. So Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, the experiences vary, I guess, each time you go on it, because you can have totally different experiences multiple times and different experiences with who you're going on it with. And you get rated at the end of the ride to see how you did.
We did pretty good.
We did really well, actually. Only 1 lower than the top score, apparently. They're the top tier, status. So it's really cool. Being in the Millennium Falcon is really cool. Before you even get into the cockpit, just being in the area is awesome. I think Hondo is the name of the guy who the animatronic for him is really incredible. Before, and he's kind of explaining what you're going to be doing, and he wants you to grab this fuel or these crystals or something, and that's your job to go steal these because you're a smuggler, and then take them away. So I mean, it was cool in a lot of ways, being in that situation. And I was the pilot, so I got to be all the way in the front. So for me, it was a totally different experience because I was looking at the screen the whole time, basically. And sometimes I had to look down, but it was really neat being in the, it was really fun being the pilot.
But I mean, they've talked about this on other podcasts that really, I mean, how the pilot and how everyone does really does change your experience.
It does,
and so
totally.
When you're with a kid, let's say those 2 people behind us
were
really focused on having this really awesome experience where you do super well.
Right.
You're getting paired up with a 5-year-old and some lady that doesn't know what the heck she's doing. It makes you a little nervous.
Right.
And I know that they have fixed it so it's not like you'll just crash and
right. No,
it's over.
They give you some leeway.
But it does have its limitations there that you're kind of that made me nervous. And I was like, I don't want these people to have a bad experience. Because there was just the 3 of us. I'd be like, I'll be the pilot, and it doesn't matter if Harrison doesn't shoot anyone, or who cares. But,
right.
So there's a little bit of that.
Yeah, it's a unique experience. It's a fun experience.
Oh yeah, we had a blast.
But it's definitely not I would say to people, if you were going to be a Galaxy's Edge, you definitely try and get on Rise of the Resistance before anything, right? That's the number 1 attraction. It's still really cool. And
not the end of the world if you don't do it.
Right, if you don't do it right away, it's fine.
To me, it was almost more exciting just to be outside and look
at the Falcon,
and just be in that area.
Yeah, then get into the area where they are.
But I mean, it was cool. It was cool, but it has some things that I would change if I, if I could.
Yes. So And then after that, we walked out, and we did not do the lightsaber experience or the droid experience this time. We'll do that, and we will be returning. So there's a lot we haven't done in Galaxy's Edge.
We also didn't get a Ronto wrap.
No. So there are many things that we did not do. But that's okay. We did see stormtroopers and Rey, and which was really cool of seeing those characters. And now the marquee. Then we left Galaxy's Edge for a while. We went on Mickey and Minnie again. We went to Toy Story Land. Mm-hmm. We went to Toy Story Land. We got on the Alien Swirling Saucers, which I think was the longest wait we had.
Well, there's like two different like sections of that, and like one of the sections when we were in line totally closed down.
Right.
So then it made it longer than it should have been.
Yes. So Swirling Saucers is cute. It's not really like a.
It just reminds me of like a carnival ride. It's not. If there's a long line, I would say skip it. We just did it. I figured if we're gonna do it, let's do it now because the line won't be as long. Because I think normally it's like over an hour wait.
Right.
And I knew it was a short ride, and I don't know what that type of ride.
It's not. It doesn't. It's not like you don't go in circles really. You sort of like it's swung around.
You kind of go actually like in a figure eight, but because it's like
Yeah, you just swing around.
There's a part that's the part that you're sitting in is actually like a handle of what's connected to the track. So there are parts where you swing around a little bit faster. But yeah, I mean it's a glorified kind of carnival ride.
Yeah, but it's still cute. Yeah. It's very short. It lasts about a minute.
Yeah.
I mean you don't want to really do it for much longer, to be honest.
No,
like you're
I was ready to be. I knew Harrison at this age would want to do it, and we should do it. I wanted to do it once, and that will probably be the one time we do it.
Right, it's an attract. Like pretty much all of Toy Story Land, with the exception of Toy Story Midway Mania, was bought off a shelf. Like Disney just slapped the Toy Story characters off of it. Mm-hmm. So. And we did do Slinky Dog.
We did. Harrison stood in line for it, knowing what it was, which is big.
Which is a big deal.
Yeah.
And Slinky is a fun coaster. Mm-hmm. It's a good coaster. So I think it's very solid. I would put it in between like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Big Thunder. Like it's sort of that mild, like in between those two, right? I would say a little mild, more intense than Seven Dwarfs.
The thing is, there's more like ups and downs. It's kind of more vertical dips than Big Thunder.
Yeah.
Big Thunder's not
Big Thundies. Yeah.
built for that reason.
Right.
But it is a little bit more, I think when you're on there with a child, you pay attention to that stuff more. But Harrison did go on it when he was 3, and it was a different experience this time. He was a little bit older. But yeah, it's a great ride.
It is.
It's cute.
Yeah. Really good ride. And we did all of Toy Story Land. Then we did Midway Mania. Mm-hmm. And that was fantastic. Like, the lines were not really super long. Everything was moving pretty good.
I still want to say, though, this is 70-degree weather in January, and you still feel
the heat in Toy Story.
The heat and the brightness. It's just like blinding
Toy Story
in
Land,
that area.
Yeah, it has zero shade, and that's a problem. It needs to do something. They need to put some structures up to help block the sun, because it's
a lot.
It is. The whole area is just wide open.
Well, and it's to
the sun.
More crowded. In that area, maybe they just figured this is a way to.
Well, it's not. Toy Story Land is really just like a lane. Like it
should be Toy Story Land.
Yeah, like we've talked about this in the past. Yeah. Like it's really just a street that you're on. It's straight shot, basically. Mm-hmm. Really, honestly. And then after that, so here's the other thing that was consistent and something that you had to do. By the way, I mean you didn't have to. I mean, you think there are spots where you could have. Like, they will take your order a different way, But for the most part, if you didn't have a smartphone, your experience would vary a lot.
Yes.
Like the smartphone was huge. Basically, every meal we ate, we used the mobile order, okay?
You had to.
Like, it was like if you didn't, you
couldn't eat at that place.
Right. Or you would have to order with them and then wait, So, like, you could order in front, I think, if you didn't have your smartphone. I mean, still, you would be able to eat. But we mobile ordered. We did the ABC commissary. It's weird. Like, you're given a window of time that you could show up. So you say you order your food. This is how mobile order works anyway. You order your food, and then it says, this is the window of time we have available, like 1:45 to 2:15 or something. And then you say, okay, get it ready. So you hit get ready, and then you have to make it there by that time period.
Yeah.
And then you walk up, and there are people that there's really no lines. They don't want people.
Well,
in
I
line.
think that's the reason for the mobile ordering right now, is that they're trying to eliminate long lines of people inside.
Yes. So you're waiting outside of the restaurant, and you are told to come up, show your smartphone. They'll let you in, and then you can go pick your food up, and then you can sit in there and eat. Right. Mm-hmm. So we did do that. We ate in the commissary. It's one of the only places that actually has like seating inside a quick service. In Hollywood Studios, there's not that many of them to be frank. So we're inside and we ate. I had a cool buffalo grilled cheese sandwich, which is really good.
Yeah,
it was so yummy.
I don't remember exactly what I had. It was some sort of chicken.
Yeah,
sandwich.
chicken.
It was good.
Like I think you had like a what do they call the ones with the stick in the middle? Like I don't know. You had one of those sandwiches, what do they call those?
Stick in the middle?
Like they had the toothpick, and it's the little sandwiches on the toothpick. What is that called? I don't know. Whatever. Like a BLT type of deal you had. I don't remember. So whatever. So we had a good meal, and then that was right around. We waited because it was right around 1:00, and then we were able to get. Finally, we were able to get our Rise of the Resistance, our reservation, which was awesome.
Yeah, we tried to time like our lunch so that we could be sitting there ready on the phone to try and get the reservation for Rise of the Resistance.
And we still, so that we have time. And then after that, you still have time. You get a boarding group number, and you still have time before you can even... You can't just, go right to Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah, they tell you when to come back. However many minutes later. 300 minutes from now or whatever it is.
Right.
And what was really cool, though, is that there was another family sitting, not super close, but, near
close
us
enough,
that they were trying to get it,
You could tell they were trying to do it.
And he cheered, and then, we cheered.
We both cheered. Did you get it? You get it? Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun to be around that.
It was a fun experience.
Yeah.
And then we had a bunch of time, and we're not going to get into the Rise today because we're already out of time. But we did go. There isn't much for Harrison to do in Sunset Boulevard. We don't want to subject him to Tower of Terror yet.
He's not ready. Some kids might be ready at that age.
He'd be pretty scared, probably.
He's not.
Yeah. And then we also Rock and Roller Coaster, but we still wanted to kind of go walk over there. So we did. We went over there, and we again had mobile ordered because Harrison, didn't eat his actual lunch, so we had to buy him another lunch. So we bought him at the outdoor place. I think it's Orange Terrace or Rosie's All American Cafe is what it was, and we ate there, with the mobile order, and then finally, after some time relaxing, here's another weird thing, you guys. Because of the nature of the park and the nature of Rise of the Resistance and the nature of, the fact that the park was closing at 5 or 6. I don't remember when it was closing. Was it 5 or 6? Something like that. In January, the parks aren't open super late. So we didn't do our normal go home in the middle of the day thing and, relax. Mm-hmm. We stayed at the park all day, which is different for us. I'll be honest, it felt weird for me.
I didn't like it.
I didn't like it either.
I mean, you know what? It was more tolerable because it was not as hot and it was not as crowded.
Yeah.
But we were able, we'll get into this another time, we were able to actually do that the second day, and it felt so much better.
Oh my gosh,
it felt so much better. I don't know how people go, and we left before the park closed and we were done.
Yeah. Yes. We were done the rest of the day. So we're going to get much more in depth. We still have a lot to talk about. So we'll go do part 2 of this in a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. But we have much more to talk about. We have our Rise of the Resistance review ahead for you. And we also have our Wave dinner that we ate at the Contemporary.
And be our guest.
And be our guest and Magic Kingdom Day. So there's still a lot to talk about. But the trip was really fantastic. Definitely worth it. And it's very cool and safe to go there. Should you decide, if you're comfortable doing it, do it. Because there's not that many people right now.
Now's the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, more on our secret Disney trip that we had in January of 2021. All right, everybody, from the Midwest. See you later.